fellow female activists, this is an extra for you. Hello, Cathy Perez, fellow female activist. And today I thought it was really important to give people in my specific legislative district. So I probably should make it very aware. I don't know if that's scary or not, but I am in Arizona and I am in the U.S. Legislative District for Representative Azari. Sorry, I can't say her name right. But I wanted to be very specific and share how constituents in her area can get a hold of her. Okay, she's been phenomenal. But I also want to make sure that we are being very deliberate in our time, how we use it, because this moment needs us to be direct. It needs us to be very on point. Two similar synonyms there, but you'll get what I'm saying. And I want you to be very, very, very aware of where you're getting your information. And then we'll end with how we might, come around to at least engaging in some way, shape, or form with the opposers, those who realize that they voted wrong because they did. They are now being punished just like the rest of us. And, they did so because of white supremacy, patriarchy, and misogyny. There is no other way to sugarcoat that. But I am hoping that when they decide that they are hurting as well, that they will then come to reality. And then at that point, they will say, okay, how can I make this better? Not because they're any better themselves, but simply because they realize I am being hurt now. I need to fix this. Okay, so what you're seeing right now, okay, so our extras, remember our extras. And if you notice, I haven't gone into a PQ rep. I probably should. Maybe I will, but extras are more about really quick, I shouldn't say quick because I'm going to be here a little while, but they're about understanding how we can meet this moment with reality, for one, but two, some type of action. And it's still sage action. And maybe I will start with our PQ reps going forward. But again, this is information I want to get out there. And not that we shouldn't slow down and PQ rep our positive quotient repetitions if you listen to any other wellness videos. But I really want this to be something where you take information and then you use it. Okay. So what you have been looking at, besides me talking, is this article from the New York Times that dropped yesterday. And basically, the DOE, Department of Education, has been raided. And let's be very, very clear. Okay, so you can see who wrote the article. Okay, and again, there'll be links to everything we're talking about in the description. But why I wanted to start with this is because this this is what got a lot of people pissed. All right, and I mean that because now it's affecting everyone. Like before, here and there, maybe immigration didn't affect your little bubble, right? And I'm talking to those of us who voted correctly to save democracy and human rights. And then I'm talking about those who have finally realized that they let white supremacy, patriarchy, and misogyny, that they voted for that. They don't want to admit it. They don't want to they're going to blame it. Oh, I wanted lower aid prices, so forth and so on. No, they voted for white supremacy, patriarchy, and misogyny. So what I want you to understand, okay, we already know that, but when they come around, it's going to be because they are now pissed. They should have been pissed a long time ago, but they are now pissed that something like this is now affecting them completely in front of their faces. Okay, so this got a lot of people upset. Okay, so if they weren't worried about anything, I don't know how you couldn't be worried about there being a constitutional crisis, but in any case, this right here actually, now there are those in the MAGA bubble who will never ever believe that this is a bad thing. But for those who split their tickets, okay, and this is probably who you can send this to, is people who split their tickets, right? In Arizona specifically, they split their tickets and now they're like, what the hell did I just do, right? They're regretting their vote in one way, shape, or form. So send them this, because this is remnants of what happened to tons of parents in the US, at least, when it came to homeschooling their children, realizing that, oh my goodness, we are so glad that there is a Department of Education. And now it's kind of like, wow, we are right back where we started, if not really worse. Okay. So at least in the pandemic timeframe, you had teachers. They were there with the kids on Zoom. It wasn't ideal, but they were still getting some type of education. Now we're not theoretically going to have a Department of Education, which means if these same people who again voted for white supremacy, and I'm going to keep repeating it because they need to understand that they hurt not just the others, but now they've hurt their own children because of their stance on white supremacy, patriarchy, and misogyny. So this right here is scary as all get out, right? I mean, the treasury was bad enough, but now as everything is tumbling, right? This right here is what got certain people that I know very closely to finally get activated. So this may be what it takes to get people activated. So understand that everyone's going to have their breaking point, their tipping point, right? As to when they're going to wake up, and we get to be ready. Okay. So this is an important article. Go ahead and read it. It's hopefully it's a gift. Again, sometimes you have to pay, but for right now, it seems to be open. So go ahead and gift that to someone, right? Share it. And this is important. Again, a lot of people were not really at all caring about what was happening, but because of this, right? Millions of kids are now affected, right? And so this woke a lot of people up. So think about that. So now, okay, what I want to switch to is for those, again, in the Congressperson Ansari's District 3, okay, and that's in Arizona. And so I've been calling ever since January 20th happened, January 2025. I've been calling my state legislators because that's when the legislature started here in Arizona. And so I was on the bandwagon of all the horrible bills I know that were going to start happening or going into session, right? So on the federal level, okay, now we're on the federal level. So I have been also not just talking to my state legislators, but I've been talking to obviously our two US senators and again everyone has a district that they live in, okay, in their state, and then that district has a representative in the House of Representatives, right? So mine is Yasmin Ansari. I'm sorry if I'm saying her name wrong. And I wanted to share this in particular because her staffer was excellent. I want to give them kudos. Again, everyone is hands on deck. So these people are running ragged, but obviously we want to see a lot more. I mean, I know that sounds really bad, but I don't have any patience for anyone right now when it comes to, okay, what the hell are we doing? No, we're taking action and we're taking action everywhere we can. So I was very pleased to be told by, again, Congressperson Ansari's staff person that this form, okay, is available to, again, people in the District 3, okay, of Arizona. And it's basically a form, it's really easy, but it's about how all of these horrible EOs, executive orders, and anything else that you pissed about, because again, we're in a coup. Like if anyone is trying to talk you off the cliff, let them know, no, this is a constitutional crisis. We are basically living through what is a coup. And it's unfortunate because it's we see other countries being able to stop their coups that happen in South Korea and then another one in France, right? And that took less than 3 days. Well, I can only say that because there wasn't more done, right? I believe, in prior, okay, times. And again, our Congress has been so divided. It's hard to get anything accomplished. But more should have been done, in my view, about how to help the states now, because right now it's the state governors in the blue states that are holding off complete like chaos. Like all the burden now is on the states and those who are in blue states know this, it is up now to the governors of those states to help hold the lines of democracy until which time the US Congress can get their acts in gear and do stuff. Okay. So this is why I really love this, is because this is a direct way, okay, to make sure that she and her staff, Rep. Azari, can get a hold of us on specific matters. And again, school, big time reason to be upset. So this is a wonderful resource, okay, and I wanted to share that. Again, I absolutely know that when you are in contact with these offices, they have to log all of these calls. All right. So whether you call, email, and or text, right? They've got to get back to, if you so choose, you can choose not to be replied back to, but understand that all of this is tracked. Now, why do I keep talking about this? This is excellent because you can be very descriptive, okay? When you're on the phone, and you can be descriptive in an email, but this is cool because she is giving you the opportunity to say, okay, this is what I need to know, like specifically what's going on with you. And they might be able to help you even faster, right? But again, they're out there with their hair on fire right now, simply because they're trying to hold the lines, which let's just, we know things are not good right now. But I wanted to at least give you a little hope that, look, we know that, right now it's all about the citizens. I don't want you to forget that. The one percenters are trying to smash us in, right? And get this, we outnumber them. They have a lot of power right now, that no doubt. And okay, and it's totally within our powers because we are more powerful. We have the majority, right? None of us wanted this. No one, okay, no one voted for the most uh, richest person on the earth to take over our government. And yet the GOP is letting that happen. So understand that even if you are talking to someone on the opposing side, they did not vote. Okay, they did not vote for Elon Musk. Remind them of that. So I want to let you know of some resources, okay? I'm not going to necessarily show them to you because then I'd have to go to YouTube. I don't want to divert you so much, but everyone that I list, okay, I'll put their YouTube channels on, their channel links so that you can go to them. Right now, it's imperative that you understand that, I mean, I understand why local media might not go into big depths about certain subjects that are happening, but I don't think anyone talked about, and again, I don't watch local or the national news anymore on regular, what you'd call legacy media anymore, because it's ridiculous. It's, yeah, they're co-opted completely by the right. And it doesn't matter which organization you're talking about, okay? They are all now corporate media, which means they're legacy media, which means they're owned by a billionaire white person. So I wanted to give, again, people in District 3. Now, again, I'm going to, flag fellow activists and, I'll have a whole bunch of hashtags of who I want to see this. But if you know someone, okay, in District 3, this is for you. So again, I pretty much now just go to these specific, and I want to name them because you probably already know most of them who they are, if you're an activist. And if you're not into the whole political scene, and this is your first time really thinking about learning more, this will be new to you, but it'll be very helpful. So YouTube, if you're not familiar, is definitely more like a search engine, right? So I happen to just go on there and find all kinds of really good research material. And I'm an activist. And so this is how I get my information. So again, I'm not going to any of the legacy media anymore. I'm basically utilizing independent media. Okay. So I wanted to specifically name out those who I believe are really, really extraordinary at getting the message out. And these are going to go from the top of our federal system, okay, in government, all the way down to the locals, or what I would just consider, again, independent media. And I call them independent media, and you could use the word influencer, but no, these are people who are putting out extraordinary information, okay, and informing the public. All right, influencers, sorry, in my view, so there's a difference between, in my head, influencer and content creators. I'm a content creator, okay? Um, someone like, I'm sorry, the Kardashians, no, that's just influencer. You know, they build a brand and God love them, I guess, but that's all it is, all right? Whereas, okay, now I'm not saying all influencers are just out for money, but let me just make the difference that in my head that influencers, I'm sorry, they just don't have the same, I guess, what I would call, uh, well, let me just say it this way. Content creators want to give and educate. Influencers, I don't think they have, that is not their main focus. So please call me a content creator because I am creating this content to help you, all right, become more informed so that you can take action. That is exactly what I want. Your CTA is always to take some type of action. So the independent media, and again, these are including actual you as Congress people, but I want to use the phrase independent media because they are actually utilizing the sources that many people use now. They get more views, okay, on their YouTube channels and even maybe on their websites than the legacy media does on any given day. That's why I want you to switch where you're getting information. The corporate media is completely capitulated. They have decided that their king gets to decide what they're going to say and do. And that goes for, unfortunately, a lot of again, the news outlets, as in newspapers and so forth. Okay. So, to start, I subscribed to AOC's and Representative Crockett's YouTube channels. So AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she is a U.S. rep in New York, or from New York. And then obviously, or maybe not, you might not know that Representative Jasmine Crockett is from Houston, Texas. So again, they are U.S. House representatives, so they are official, but their YouTube channels are freaking amazing. They have been, to me, the most useful voices for democracy and human rights. And it's a damn shame that AOC was not given more responsibility along with Representative Crockett. Okay, so please, 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 if you want to learn the backstories, okay, get onto their YouTube channels, subscribe. And then it's kind of funny because YouTube channels, in my view, pretty much fall under the lines of what you would consider possibly just podcasts, and they're visual, right? But however you want to look at it, again, the YouTube channels are very useful. So then we have the Karen Hunter Show, that is a podcast, the Karen Hunter Show. Then we have Roland Martin. Okay, he's a legend. So is Karen Hunter, but the Karen Hunter Show, Roland Martin, Politics Girl. Okay, Politics Girl, so cool. Then we have Resistance Live, my mentor. I had the pleasure of being definitely under her wing, and I'm so appreciative. So Elizabeth Cronus, I hope I said that, Cronus McLaughlin is the host of Resistance Live. Then we have Brian Taylor Cohen. A lot of people probably know him. Then we have Seen on Radio. So Seen on Radio is specifically what you would consider a podcast. You would find it, on wherever you find podcasts. But I do now believe that they have a YouTube channel. So Seen on Radio. And then get this. So remember how I said that the corporate media sucks. It does. And if you want to actually get relevant information, because now all of the federal websites are down, like they're useless now, basically. So what we want is to find the current information, especially about, hello, diseases. So you can go to the American Medical Association's YouTube channel, and they have a daily briefing now. It's both sad and amazing at the same time. So the AMA, the American Medical Association, started a YouTube channel And they've probably had it longer, but now they're having daily updates. Why? Because the CDC's website, the NIH, the all of our all of federal uh, our federal agencies that were to protect us are now like gone, literally. Like they're not being updated anymore. So until we elect people who actually want to advance society instead of kill everyone, the AMA's YouTube channel would be excellent. And then we also have, again, you can find all these on YouTube, and I'll have the links. Breaking Down Patriarchy is a wonderful, what you'd call informational YouTube channel, and it's exactly what the title suggests. And then Leija Miller. So Leija, Leeja, Leija Miller. She's an actual lawyer. And again, perfect example of what I would consider, again, content creator. She is giving information. All of these people are giving information in some way, shape, or fashion that is educating you, unlike what the corporate media is doing. And then they're giving you call to action, CTAs, do this, this, and this. Okay. And it's okay if you get it out of order. But understand, we are in this alone now. Like it is us as citizens to save our democracy. Yes, we have wonderful representatives like AOC and Representative Crockett, but understand that the Democrats are in the majority. So get this, if necessary to stop progress of all these horrible laws that could go into effect, the Democratic Party may decide to close down, the government, meaning they will not show up. So there can't be any votes. And you know what? I'm okay with that. Yes, it's going to suck really bad, but we're already in a constitutional crisis. So them not allowing any votes by virtue of them not showing up, okay, because you have to have a certain amount of people, unless they totally just go dictatorship, honest, but to get anything passed, there has to be a vote. And that can't happen. They can't vote unless there's a quorum, a certain amount of people. Well, if all the Democrats refuse to show up, that shuts down the government. Okay. So in this one case, yes, I want them to shut down the government, especially now knowing that Tabby Gavers is now the National Security Advisor. Yeah, basically all of our secret information is pretty much gone now. All right, so that's important. So now, funny enough, what I want you to think about, okay, is beyond making sure that you're in your small bubbles of security, so you have a safe group of people that you can trust, and that can be family, friends, right? Neighbors, creating those so remember in the pandemic when we created our safe bubbles again, so collectively we helped each other. That's what's got to happen here. It's actually called dual power, okay? So when the general societal rules are failing, you have a parallel, okay, a dual set of a system that can help uplift the community. So dual power. So while you're creating those, okay, on February 28th, supposedly there is a nationwide only buy from local businesses. Okay, so choose wisely. So don't buy anything from the big corporate, box stores, to include Target, Amazon, Walmart, name them, right? But only shop locally if at all. Otherwise, don't spend any money on the 28th. And then finally, I want to leave you with this. And this is where I hopefully will come to make point of all this, is people who voted for white supremacy, patriarchy, and misogyny, they split their ticket, let's say, and they voted for the orange Fanta, okay, but yet they voted, let's say for a Democratic senator. What? Really? People did that? Yeah, they did. But keep in mind, 3.5 million Black voters were not allowed to vote, or their votes didn't count because of either gerrymandering, okay, and or just straight voter suppression because again, they were taken off the voter rolls right before the election, which is illegal. All right. So back in August of 2024, yeah, it was horrible. So theoretically, we should be in a totally different administration. Like democracy should be stable and we should have President Harris. But no, because of straight voter suppression, okay, yes, now we are in the situation. So with that in mind, my last thought here for you is people, again, as I started in the beginning, people are waking up the hard way to what is happening. And now they are being hurt. I actually heard someone on a YouTube clip say that they voted the way they did because they didn't think they were going to get hurt. They were okay with others getting hurt, but not me. As long as I don't get hurt, I'll go ahead and let democracy fall. Well, isn't that lovely? Because now they are getting hurt and it affects them directly. And only because of that are they now willing to admit that they voted wrong. So when you come across those people, right? Now, we're not talking about the 10% that are MAGA and they think that the orange Fanta is their, Jesus. No, we can't, there's no helping them. But there are those who are going to now regret splitting their tickets, voting the way they did. And I'm not saying we get to give them complete forgiveness because I cannot forgive them for what they did to this country. But I get to offer at least the ability to send them resources. At the very least, tell them where to go, like these, YouTube channels I told you about. Send them those resources because once they get out of the bubble of of the cult, then they're going to need to learn, and they're going to need to learn really fast. So these are the direct resources you can send them. And again, forgiveness is divine, meaning when you forgive someone for what they did, you're letting go of a poison that can hurt you most, right? So when I said I can't forgive them, when that time comes and someone comes to me and says, Cathy, I split my ticket and now I regret it. I want to hopefully reconstruct what is left of democracy. How can you help me? I'm not going to shout at them. I'm not going to, or at least that's my thinking. I'm not going to shout at them. I'm not going to tell them they're horrible. I am simply going to say with as much dignity and neutrality, okay, as I can, you can go to these resources and on your own, you can, do what you think is best. There's very little energy I want to give anyone who put us in this position. But I at least get to help them find the right answers, right? I get to make sure that they are put on the right path so that we collectively, again, there's more of us than them, i.e. the 1% that want to kill democracy and human rights. And so once people start to realize the harm they have caused, then they're going to need to be directed in the right way. And that's where we come in. If they ask for my forgiveness, I will give it to them, say, yes, I forgive you for what you did. And let's work now and get this taken care of, right? Let's turn this tide. But again, forgiveness is not letting them off of what they did. What they did was wrong. They voted for white supremacy, patriarchy, and misogyny. And I forgive them for what they did, but I don't have to forget. And so I will give them the resources, but that doesn't mean I'm going to work with them. It just means I'm going to send them in the right direction, and then they can decide who they can work with. I am not that person. I am wanting to work with fellow female activists to help them in their self-care, but they have to be those who voted right originally, right? Like they have to be the ones that didn't want to jeopardize other people's lives. So with that, this was kind of long, but I wanted to get that information out there. And then again, I will put all the links that I shared in the description. And then, yeah, I just dropped a previous video. It was wellness, okay? And it's based on why nourishment matters, okay? All right, so anyway, we will talk again. Until next time, take care, take charge, God bless.